Welcome back, you little ho-ho-hos. I'm Mama Fontana. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a Yule log, just in time for Christmas. Okay, so our first step is separating the eggs. So I put my egg yolks over here, they're separate, and here are my egg whites. Once you start beating them, you want to get them to a frothy point, and while you're beating them, add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. When they get to that frothy point, then you're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. And then you should get nice stiff peaks like this. And these are going to be separated and put away till our next step is finished. So what we did next is we put our flour and our cocoa together, sifted it so it's nice and soft. Over here we had our 6 egg yolks, sugar, butter, a little bit of vanilla, and then you have your choice. 1/4 cup of nice strong coffee, or you can use 1/4 cup of Bailey's. It's delicious, my choice. What we're gonna do next is, here's our flour mixture with the cocoa in it. Here's our egg mixture that we just did. These are the egg yolks that had the butter and the sugar and stuff in. And we're gonna mix this gently together. Make sure you get all of that out of there. Okay, that is nice and smooth. Now the next part's pretty important. We want to make sure that we fold in these egg whites.
What does that mean?
You can't mix them hard.
You just fold it in.
You want to keep the air in it. So just remember, when you get to this part, you have your stiff peaks ready. We're going to fold it in really gently. This is what's going to make it puff up. This may take a minute because you can't be too rough with it. You really just have to get it mixed in, but again, ever so gently. Okay, well, it looks like we're pretty good and folded in here. So what we're going to do now is add it to our baking sheet. Butter the bottom of your baking sheet, put your parchment paper on, butter that as well. You need to make sure that you do so that it will unsecure it when you pull it out, because this is not easy to roll, and you want to make sure you do it the correct way. So we're going to get it put in here. I have my oven preheated to 350. This does not take long to bake. About 10-12 minutes is all. I will remind you that once in a while people say when you bake a cake, and my mom did it too, she would say, you know, you bang it on the counter a couple times to get the bubbles out. Well, you don't want your bubbles out. The whole reason you beat a cake is to add a little bit of air into it. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. Get this as evenly as we can. All right. If you're not sure about how it is, you can give it a little shimmy rather than beating it. Okay, this is going to go in the oven, 10 to 12 minutes, 350. Check it in a minute.
So what happened, Mom?
I forgot to add in the baking powder. Should have been put in with the flour and the cocoa.
Oh no.
So here we go. Let's hope it works.
Okay.
A few moments later.
They're all baked, but FYI, Mama Fontana made a little boo-boo. So after I put it in the oven, I looked over at my ingredients and I'm like, oh my God, I left out the baking powder. So I had to pull it out of the oven, dump it back in the bowl, put the baking powder in, and look at that, it worked. So we're gonna go from here and we do the next step. So at this point, you need to sprinkle it with some icing sugar or powdered sugar. So you wanna put a little bit on this because if you don't, it will be sticky. And then you wanna also put some on your parchment paper that's on the rack. So we got hot stuff here, and we're probably gonna have big poofs because that's what happens, you get poofs when you're doing this kind of stuff. I am going to, are you ready? I'm not doing it that way because I know I'll do it. I know what's going to happen. So we're going to bring this little thing over here, and we're going to put it on top like that. And then we're going to unroll it, put this here. This way we won't have any mistakes, hopefully. All right. Fingers crossed. It's a hot pan. Yay! Look at that. Okay. Take off the other parchment paper while it's still warm, because if you don't, you will have a mess. So at this point, we have to do the roll, which is always fun. So we're going to take it back off that. Some people roll it the short ways. I feel like you get more cake if you roll it this way, and you're going to make a lot of filling to put in it. And I do think I'm going to put a little bit more of this just to keep it from doing anything crazy. Use your paper to roll. It makes it much, much easier. So get it in there. Make your first roll. Try to make them as tiny as you can without cracking it. Roll, roll. You want to get a swirl. Your swirl will show more once you get the filling in. Aha. There we go. Seam side down. Leave it on your little rack. And we're going to have to cool for at least an hour so you can come back and fill it. But it looks like we made a no crack roll. So we'll be back with some fillings to make and some ganache, and we'll finish this baby up. Okay, we've got the sponge in the fridge cooling because it could take a little bit of time. And we're going to make the ganache. Doing things a little bit backwards because this takes a little bit longer to cool. So I have a little cup of heavy whipping cream and 1 tablespoon of Caro syrup on the stove heating. So I'm going to grab that. And then we're going to pour this over 1 package of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Sounds awful, doesn't it? I'm just going to give those a couple minutes to start. Doesn't take long once they start getting warm. And then you're going to want to get these mixed up so it looks like a nice, smooth chocolate icing ganache. Right now it looks like chocolate milk. Oh yeah. And this will have to cool because it'll be a little bit runny once we get all this in here. And then as it cools, it turns into a nice, thick ganache icing. I love the word ganache. I will tell you, I get a lot of recipes, a lot of tips and tricks from watching the Great British Baking Show. I love it. You can never learn too much. You can learn by their mistakes too, because just like me, they're not perfect. All right, this is just about done. And we're going to put it to the side to cool. And then we're going to get started on our filling. Okay, so now we're going to get on to the filling. Filling is delicious. So we have 1 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream here. And then we need to put in 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. So we're going to do that. Get on in there. There's a half. Here's a 1/4. For those of you that don't know, that makes 3/4. Teaspoon of vanilla, looks like a shot glass. Okay, now we're going to get this whipping. Okay, that looks like it's pretty good. Now we have mascarpone. It's going to take the whole container, 8 ounces. I'm going to put this in there. Kind of looks like cream cheese. Smells really good. All right. Okay, back to the noisy. Gotta whip it till we get some soft peaks. And I get it all over me. I think we are good. Okay. So while we're waiting for the cake to cool, I'm going to put this in the fridge as well. And then we're going to come back and we'll show you how to unroll it, fill it, and put the ganache on top and show you how cute it turns out. Well, here it is. It is cooled, and we have our filling ready here. Now comes the time that we figure out how well we did. So we're going to unroll it. Hopefully we don't have any cracks. Carefully unrolling. So far, so good. Oh, no cracks. So we're going to put in our filling, and then we have to re-roll it, and then we're going to have to put it back in the fridge for a little bit. So let's do this. Oh yeah, here we go. You can't have too much filling. All right. So we want to make sure we get this to all the edges. I think we're good. Get in there. Now we're going to re-roll it using the paper, but not putting the paper in there. It's kind of sticky, so gotta be careful here. Come on, baby. Come on. Tuck and roll. Oh, there we have it. We have got a roll to be proud of. Okay, now we're going to go to the finishing parts, sticky, and we're going to get it with our ganache on. We actually give it a little cut, and we're going to make it show like a stump, so it'll be a log with a little stump on the side, and you'll see how cute it looks. I'll direct it, or decorated, however you want to say it. We'll be back in a minute. Got to get it in all the crevices. Make sure we cover everything up. It looks so pretty. Since it's a Yule log, there's a couple of little finishing touches that you can do to make it look even more like a log. And that is by getting a fork. And if you just lightly do this, it gives it the look of being actual bark. Looks pretty nice. Have little decorations to put on it, just to make it very much more Christmassy. So we're going to put him right here. A little bit of berries. And then guess what? It's going to snow. And that, my friends, is a Yule log. Well, here's the finished product. I think it turned out beautifully. What we're going to do is we're going to taste it and see how it is. My mouth's watering, so hopefully it's pretty good. So let's just take a little slicey here. Oh, slice is nice. Oh yeah, look at the swirl. That's really pretty. It looks really, really good. It is. Moist, very tender. So it's been a long time, but we wanted to surprise you with a video, Christmas video to boot. So I'm hoping that maybe you could make this cake and see what it's like. We're going to be pushing forward, making more videos going forward. I have requests all the time, when you coming back? When you coming back? Well, we're back. So I just want to get on real quick and say thank you for watching. And as always, I share my love of cooking with my family. And now I share with you. Merry Christmas. See you next year.